Welcome to episode 9 of 100 Songs. Today's song and artist, as chosen by the wheel, is a little bit different than the rest of the artists and songs on this list. Reason being, what we're covering today is a band named As Yet Untitled, and the song is Reciprocity off of an album, Becomes You. What's different about this over the others on the list is that As Yet Untitled is and has remained a local band from the Sacramento area, Sacramento, California, which is where I'm essentially from. So, unlike all the other artists, this is one that would be unknown outside the area for the most part. They have played around California. You may have heard of them, if you happen to see them or something like that. But they're not known, around the world. So as a result, they're one of only a few bands that are not on Spotify, and the only one on my entire list that isn't even on YouTube. So to link this particular track as part of this 100 Songs project, I had to link to their songs on SoundCloud. So they are on SoundCloud, and that's where this link is from. So As Yet Untitled is a band that I discovered in the 90s when I was living in Midtown Sacramento. So for 1 year in the 90s, 1998, I lived in Midtown Sacramento, and they were playing a lot in the 90s. This particular album, Becomes You, was came out in 1996, and the song Reciprocity is track 1 on the album. I went to a lot of local bars and clubs in around that time. Almost not every weekend, but many weekends I would go see different bands play. As Yet Untitled really stuck out for me, and to this day represents that kind of part of my life of doing that. I also met them and got to know them a little bit, not a lot, but I talked to them at shows because I would see them a lot, playing a lot. So they have a place on this list for me because this and a few of the other songs I really like, make me happy, and this song in particular I think is my favorite from them. They have 3 albums in total. This one being in the middle. Years later, they recorded, I think it's a self-titled record that is their last album. I don't know that they'll come out with any more. They're not really together anymore. They just do like a reunion show here and there. The most success they found, or I think the most publicity they got, is in 2003 they won the Battle of the Bands. The Battle of the Bands, if anyone is in the Sacramento area and was, around in the 90s, I guess, you may remember a radio station called Zone 100.5. The Zone was a radio station that played, I guess, a lot of popular music, rock music. It was kind of a rock radio station, I guess. And they used to have a thing called the Battle of the Bands, and it was local bands would play, and then that would be you could win or whatever. That particular year, As Yet Untitled won, and as a result, they got to open for Macy Gray and Hootie and the Blowfish at an event called Day in the Zone. So Day in the Zone was a concert. I think it was out in. I think I went one year. It was out in the open at a minor league baseball team's little stadium that we have in Sacramento. And as a result of them winning, they got to be the opening band, Day in the Zone. So I did not see them then. I didn't even know that had happened until many years later. So, like I said, I went to regular shows in the 90s, and I got to talk to several times Tommy Sellers, who was the singer for the band. The nicest guy ever. One time I helped them with, they had their first album was called Soon to Sound What Were, and actually a song on that got a fair amount of radio play back in the day. And I had asked them at the time, do you have any other albums? And they said, yeah, we have one, but we don't have any recordings of it. We have one recording of it. This is, before everything was digital. So it was like, if you didn't have the media, you basically didn't have it. Now they probably had master tapes somewhere. I'm sure they did. But they had really very few, if not like a couple recordings left. So I at the time had a CD deck that you could copy CDs. You could burn CDs, CD to CD in the deck itself. It was pretty cool. Sounds a little silly now, but at the time it was magical, and it was really cool. It was I forget what brand it was. It doesn't matter. But I said, hey, I can make you a bunch of copies of this. So he gave me, at another show, he gave me a copy of it, and I made a bunch of copies for him. They were going to play around here this year, actually a month ago, just coincidentally, and it fell through. So now they're talking about doing a 2024 show, maybe somewhere around here. So I'm hoping I get to do that. That would be really cool. Reciprocity is a cool word. I just like the word reciprocity. I actually didn't really know what it meant. I had to look it up, and it's part of the word reciprocal, which just seems kind of obvious, but it's a condition of reciprocal condition of relationship, responding to a positive action with another positive action. So in social psychology, I think it's you do something nice for me, so I'm going to do something nice for you now. And I think the other main meaning of that is between nation states, like a relationship, political or whatever, where you do something for me, I'll do something for you. Anyway, let's play a little bit of the song going into the chorus right now.
Chaotically thrilled, flying too high. Guess we got that last line. The road ends in Eden, only after Boot Hill. I'm fine, I'm fine. A cloud of cradles with handles on sides. Fasten your safety line. Here comes the ride. Taken by over, so under I'll be speaking one tongue, reciprocity.
Fun song, and the horns you're hearing there is kind of unusual. Not a lot of bands have a horn player, and I always thought that was kind of unique. The guy would stand on the back. He had 2 or 3 horns he would play and switch out interchangeably. For a while, the horn player left the band, and then they went without horns. And then I think he was back at some point. Fun band, fond memories, and a little unique on this list. So let's go to the wheel to see what our next random selection is going to be for this series. House of the Rising Sun. I think most of you will know what this is when you hear it. If it's not apparent just from the title, I think you'll know when you hear it. Famous song, great song. So we will cover that next time. Thanks for listening and watching.